Right, it is getting towards the end of October. Still got plenty of Canna flowers to come. It is one of those rare days in mid to late fall or autumn where it's very still, very sunny and very warm. Officially it's supposed to be about 14-15 degrees today, but that feels like 20 in the sun. It's really quite pleasant. There's very little to no wind, and we're going to look at a few jobs to do, just little 5-10 minute jobs to do over the weekend, just to get yourself out. Nice to enjoy the garden this time of year. Nice t-shirt day. Let's have a look at some jobs I've been doing. So I finally dug out a load of pink china, which were in this centre bed. They shouldn't be there. That's just remnants from a couple of years back when I put one in, and they're slowly over time been multiplying. I do take them out every year, but every year obviously some get left behind. But regardless of that, so we've got about 25 pink china there, which I've just potted up in fresh compost, and we'll let them root in a little bit before they sort of die back for winter, and there'll be nice fresh plants come spring with nice fresh compost ready to replant somewhere else, give away or sell, whatever you do with your plants. What I will be doing, I've got so many pink china for subscribers, and this is going to be the butt. People nearby, I'm in Lowestoft, Suffolk. Anyone nearby, if they want any pink china for free and they subscribe to the channel, they can have them. You know, 2 or 3 per person. But yeah, because I've got loads, and these are just a fraction of what I've got. I've got loads that I've been digging up from around the garden, which, you know, I don't want in certain areas. Right, so that is one job I've been doing. So you could be doing that, or, you know, other perennials, maybe like your Cannas. If I'm not going to disturb mine at the minute because the weather's still good and they're still flowering, so they're not something I'm going to be digging out just yet. But these will be coming out when we get the first frost, and that sort of kill off the leaves a bit. Then I'll cut them back, dig out the rhizomes. They shouldn't be there either. I mistakenly planted them thinking they were dwarf Cannas. As usual, I tend to pot loads of rhizomes up either autumn or early spring, and some get mislabeled or not labelled at all. And yeah, I just mistook these for little dwarf Cannas, which we'll be looking at in a minute, because I'm going to be collecting some seeds from my dwarf Cannas. Sun's just gone in for a minute, but I'm sure it'll be out again soon because there's not much cloud about. Yeah, so other than sort of digging up and splitting perennials, which is always a good time, any, like I say, Cannas, colocasias, even your bananas to an extent, if you've got any pups on your Musa Baju or gingers, anything like that, you can pot up, dig up, pot up, divide, leave some in the ground, pot up some so you can start them off early, whatever you want to do, sell them, whatever. Good time to do that. Also a good time to collect some seeds. So like I said, I'm going to be looking at some dwarf Cannas which have got some seeds ready to collect, so I'll be doing that. A few other plants that you could collect seeds from this time of year. I have got a eucomis here, which is the sparkling burgundy, which has faded to green this time of year, sort of dying back. But we can see the big flower head here, and there's another one which I didn't stake up, which is dropped down here. But these will have seeds in them. They're not quite ready yet, but they've got lots of little seed pods on them, so you can grow them from seed, which I have done a load last year. So I've got quite a few of them growing on at the moment. So the riciness this year, I mean, for me, have been atrocious. They're not flowered or seeded for me, but if you have got some that are flowered and the seeds are getting close to being ready, then again, just make sure they're sort of drying out a bit rather than still fresh green. If they've sort of started to brown and dry off, then the seeds should be ready for you. But this is about as good as the riciness got for me this year. Very poor, no sign of any flowers or anything, just terrible. Yeah, so no riciness seeds for me this year. Not too bothered. I do tend to grow them every year and they never really do very well for me. I don't feed them enough or water them enough, so that's a plant that I'm not really fussed about. Seeds that are ready, and I'm looking at the cordylines, and if you can reach them, I mean, they will start dropping this time of year, and also the birds do eat them, but we've got lots of flower bracts up there full of the white seeds, and the seeds aren't white. It's the seeds are very small black seeds, but they're in a white coating. But you can collect them and plant them this time of year, and just in a seed tray scatter the white seeds. That you can leave the white on, you need to take that off, scatter them in a seed tray, and they will germinate in the spring. I'm trying to see if I've got any. Yeah, here's one here which is fell. If I can get this one-handed, I will. So that is, let's get in the sun a bit. That is a seed from the Cordyline australis, and they'll have hundreds of these on, and they are ready if you can reach them, or you've got to cut the whole bract off. You'll have thousands of seeds. You could do a couple of trays and you'd have thousands of little plants. Really easy to germinate. Like I say, you can leave them in your greenhouse over winter in a tray with a bit of compost, and they'll all spring up like grass next year. Leave them for a few months and divide them out as needed. Just pick the best ones. But yeah, so there, plenty of them. And this didn't flower that much this year. A lot of the heads didn't flower, but there's 3 or 4 heads on there, which each head will have literally thousands of seeds on. And yeah, you can do what you wish with them. Right, so we're looking at the Cannas. So we've got some little dwarf Cannas here, and I do like these just for front at the border, filling an area out. No species as such, just bought them as dwarf Cannas. These ones have orange flowers, and a lot of your Cannas won't seed. If you've got specific species types, they don't seed. Propagating series and all your sort of nice ones, ornamental ones, don't tend to seed that much. Some do, some don't, but in general, these little dwarf ones do. And we can see the seed pods here, and these are still quite green, so they're not ready yet. But we've got some at the back here. If I can pull one off, this is dried out now. So I get this on the table, and I break into it. And normally there's 2 or 3 in a pod, but this one actually only happens to have 1. But there's your Canna seed right there. So that is small, black, pellet-like, very hard. That will keep dry. You can keep that dry and cool over winter, and then you can do whatever germination method you like on that. Boil in hot water for a few seconds to fracture the seed, or scarify it and yeah, that'll germinate nicely, and you increase your little Canna collection there. So I'm going to be doing a lot of these. Like I say, I've got a few around the trunk of the Phoenix canariensis here, and they flower every year and they seed every year. Again, these aren't quite ready yet. If they're bright green like that, they're not ready. You need them to sort of brown and harden off. Let's see if we can pop another seed out. Oh, just dropped it. Here's another one, look. So you might get 2 or 3 per flower head, per pod, if you like. Some that I've done this year from seed. So these have just been sitting in a shady part of the garden, so it's not done much, but that's a little dwarf canna. So what the idea is, I'm going to do loads of seeds for the dwarf cannas, and they're going to be bedding for this new tropical plant and bed in the centre here for next year to go around some of the bigger, more statement plants. They're a nice little filler. They get about a foot tall and they do flower, and yeah, just a nice little tropical touch. If you don't want something too big, they're a nice little, leafy, tropical looking bedding plants, if you like. They're not bedding, they'll come back every year. Yeah, so there's a few seeds I may well be collecting. I mean, I'll go back around here. I have got a Trachycarpus here, female, which didn't get pollinated, so there's no seeds on that. Well, I haven't got any males about at the moment. Hopefully next year one of my other Trachys might be big enough to, or mature enough to pollinate that. But yeah, no seeds on that. But generally with your Trachycarpus, the seeds will start off green, obviously, and sort of fade to blue, purple. When they're black, they're ready to go. So you can normally leave them on until late spring, and then you can take them off and start trying to germinate them. Yeah, so again, beautiful day. I suppose it's not just seeds you can collect. There's opportunities elsewhere. If you've got begonias, for instance, and I'm going to try and find a good example. Begonia grandis is a really good one that has little nublets, and we'll go in here because I've got one growing in here which self-seeded itself. So here's a good example, look, where the flowers have gone over. Can you see that there? There's a little, I'm sure there's a proper name, I call them little nublets, but you pop that off. That's a new begonia plant right there. You can pop that in a little pot at this time of year and that'll come back or grow in spring. And you've got yourself another begonia plant there, which, to be fair, each plant will have anywhere from 20 to 100 of them on there, so you could, bulk out your collection real quick with that. And they do find themselves everywhere. I'm just going to drop that one in a pot for now. That's just an example. Right, yeah, so again, depending where you are, what's sort of mature and what sort of summer you've had, you may well have a feast of seeds to collect. I don't go too mad. It's only stuff that I particularly want to grow for next year. And we've got some amaranthus here which will have millions of seeds on, literally hundreds. And what I do with them is I just pull them out at the end of the year. I don't bother actually sort of potting them up or doing anything with them. I just shake the seed head about the border and they'll come up naturally where they want to come up. Obviously your stuff like your passion flower, you've got fruits on them, you can collect the seeds from them. The fatsias, so we've got, this is interesting because we've got flies, wasps, bees, everything on these flowers at the moment. They're really enjoying them there. That is actually a Fats hedera there, which should cross Fatsia with ivy. And we've got actually a standard Fatsia here, which is in the flower at the minute. So you could, once they mature a bit more, you can collect the seeds from them and grow them from seed as well. So yeah, there's lots of things to try. I mean, it's always nice getting free plants. Yeah, if you're just starting out, or whether you just want to try something different, why not give it a go. So that's pretty much going to conclude. If you've got coleus, and I've got some nice ones out the front, like the Congo big ones. If it's a dry day, you could try collecting seeds from them if you've let them flower. I haven't tried it myself. I'm sure that'll work just as good. If not, you buy seeds at the beginning of the year anyway. If you like growing stuff from seed, like I say, I don't go too mad. It's a bit too much trouble for me. I'd just rather split and divide bigger plants, but you know, here and there, why not? So yeah, I'm gonna get these probably in a greenhouse just to let them root out a bit. They've obviously been disturbed. You know, with daylight hours the way they are now, the clocks have just gone back. It gets dark early. The days are shortening all the time. Very limited daylight hours, so things will be dying back naturally with lack of light. So these will hopefully just sort of establish a bit of root system before they die down. And again, keep them frost free. These pink china, they're absolutely fine. Let them dry out a bit. They'll come back nice and big and strong next year. Right, we're going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.